What's going on, guys? JD at JD's Custom Buggies. So got a lot of requests for some electrical videos, so I figured I'd take this opportunity to actually make one. So what we're going to do is basically rewire a whole buggy from scratch, and we kind of got started, but I mean just cut out a lot of the preliminary stuff, so we're going to get right into the wiring part of it. So let's show you what we got here. First of all, I want to welcome Caesar Adams and Gage Adams from Team 25, and what we have here is Gage's KANDI. I believe last year's championship buggy here, but we've been chasing some wiring stuff from time to time on it, so Caesar brought it down and figured we would just tear it all out and start from scratch, which is pretty much the easiest way to do it. So what we're going to do is, Caesar already had this box here, so we're just reusing it, and he opted to go with, I've been running these lightweight lithium batteries from Firepower, and what's really nice is I have it kind of situated in here now, is they weigh close to nothing. They have a little test button there, I'll show it to you, so it'll tell you when it's fully charged. But the I don't want to say the downside to this, but you can't use a conventional battery charger on these batteries, so you have to have a lithium ion, or a charger that's capable of charging lithium ion batteries, because a conventional charger will cook these things. They're very finicky with the charging, so it's something that you want to stay after and check from time to time, and if it fully discharges, you got about a 50% success rate of getting this thing to take a charge again. So it is a little more maintenance and something that you have to kind of look after. But what we're going to do is similar setup that what I've got going in the 91X is we're going to put the battery in the box. Some other things that we're doing that's different is where you got your CDI at. Okay, so I'm going to come over and show you this. This is something new that we're carrying from JING, and when I catch up with videos and we do a finale on the 91X, you'll get a look at it. But so what this is a microchip processing CDI coil combination. Last year we did some CDI testing. We talked about CDIs in different videos that we've done, and what we did was we bought like 11 different CDIs, and adjustable ones, stock ones, performance ones. Tested about 11 or 12 of them. We put them on a start stand and used the timing gun to basically chart the timing curves, and this one by far did the best. I mean, this was so crazy that when we first hooked it up, the motor actually idled different from every CDI, so I mean you could blindfold yourself and actually hear the difference. So I went with this. Upon further review, Caesar had been listening to the motor and watching videos, and he just gave me a call and said, I want that. So we ended up putting it on the last race. It did real well. So we're going to incorporate this. We'll probably figure out a little bit better way to mount it. We did this at the track on a whim, so we'll do something a little better than that. You got to make sure that it's close enough to your motor, for one, because the spark plug wire is only so long, and you have to leave yourself a little room for flex and bouncing and whatnot. This is wired DC. It's very simple wiring. It's got 3 wires to it. Basically you get a positive, a negative, and a trigger wire. So the artistic way, however you want to wire it, that's the artistic way of wiring it. If you're DC wired, or you just want to wire hot to your key switch, then obviously you want to wire the hot wire to your ignition side of your key switch. If you're wired formerly AC, chances are your key switch was wired with all grounds, so you want to take the ground wire from this and wire it to the key switch, so you don't have to change too much as far as the key switch goes. So that's where we're at right now, and we're gonna get started on this project. And what I'll do is we'll have the camera run with my hands in there, and we'll just describe what we're doing, and hopefully it won't be lacking of detail, but it'll be detailed enough to kind of steer someone in the right direction. So let's get started. Alright, so first step is we're gonna get this rectifier hooked up to the engine harness. So probably need a little bit of assistance just to speed this along. Come here, you. Switch to work for a second. Grab that end. All 3. Hold them straight. So I try to cut these wires as close as I can, the same length. The only reason I'm doing this quite sure how much of it we're going to use, but it just makes life easier when you're routing stuff. When I'm by myself, I'll take the 3 wires and tie them to something and walk away. Pull them tight. There we go. So, try to keep the colors the same. I'm out of yellow wire, so I'm using this gray to substitute, but the other 2 wires are white and green. Connector. Whoa. Two-phase charging system. And these are butt-end connectors here. What's nice about using the CDI and coil, like I said, it's only 3 wires to hook up. So once this and the solenoid is out of the way, it's just a matter of the CDI coil combo with the key switch. So it will make life easier. Okay. Piece of harness I cut off for this. There we go. So I'm substituting my yellow for gray. now I want to get this routed. And because now all the electronics are in the body, just want to make sure I got enough room to the way I route it. As the swing arm is going up and down, we don't get unplugged or anything like that. So, looks like I got plenty of length. So we're going to route this in the box over here. Slack. So that should be plenty of bounce room right there. We're going to get rid of this little deal here. And the AC wire we're not going to use at all, so we can just cut that off. The only thing I really need is the trigger on this one. What I'll do is I'll just cut this off, tape it up, get rid of that. Actually, we're going to run the trigger directly to the CDI. There's no reason for it to go in the box. So, that should be enough slack there. Let me get these connected up for a rectifier. It's always tougher to do the little ones than it is the smaller ones. I mean, the larger ones. green wire. If you look down here, I got a bolt that's sticking up through. It's gonna be my ground lug, so any grounds I gotta put, they're all gonna go on that. When I'm done, I'm gonna put a nut on that and tighten them down. So all the grounds are gonna lead to that, even the battery. All just go right to that lug. All right, so we need to torch everything actually. I got it on so low, I'm gonna burn my hand because I can't see. It won't come off now. Got it. Alright, so rectifier's all hooked up. And about to get ready to put the solenoid in. Alright. So gotta turn this torch down. That's all the way down. Alright, so we set some things up before I turn the camera on. I'll explain real quick. So we got our solenoid mounted. What I got going on is it's going right in this pocket here. I'm going to slide it in a second. As far as the wiring goes, we already wired our rectifier up. There's a red wire coming off the rectifier. And what I did was, this is the positive lead on the solenoid, and ran them both together to a fuse. So now I'm going to pop my solenoid back in. See if I can get it back in here. It is a tight fit. Alright. Take this back up. Keeps it in place. Alright. took off a nut from the solenoid and I don't know where it went. We'll get another one.
That one in your hand, right?
I just put it down. This one. So it's gonna be the lead to my battery. Hook this up real quick. Now, any opportunity you can, if you're doing your wiring, you can eliminate your glass fuse holder, put a blade fuse in, I would recommend it. Grab me a nut driver, yellow handle. Okay. Set this down here. Fuse holder, so when this fuse blows, basically it's going to kill the starter, and then you know the fuse is blown. These two are going to go here. Yeah, that ain't it. The other leg's going to the starter. Alright. Alright, I'm going to work on the switch next for the solenoid. So, you got a pigtail coming out of your solenoid. One of these has to be grounded, one of them's got to be hot. Alright, if I touch this to a ground, then theoretically it should click. Let's see. Maybe not. Because I don't have the motor grounded yet and the starter and all that. I'm not connected. I'm not even connected to the starter. So if I ground this, it was all connected to the starter would turn over. Alright, so what we're doing here is I'm going to wire all the grounds to the switches. The reason why I do it that way is it takes the load off the switch itself instead of having these hot wires up here. So my hot wire is on the solenoid, it goes to the battery. This guy here is going to this push button switch, which is basically an interrupter. So it's got two screws. One leg's going to be the solenoid, the other leg goes to ground. When I hit it, it connects this to ground, and that's what's going to fire up or make the solenoid go. So, get my stripper. I'm going to leave enough wire, maybe a little extra, so you can take the lid off without ripping everything apart. And it'll just tuck into whatever space we have down here. So I am going to take a butt end connector and lengthen this wire. Oops.
dikes. Now under the dikes.
So. Could have made that one a little longer, so I'll put that in last. Alright, now this leaves us with the toggle switch, which is going to turn on and off our CDI. As we talked about, it's going to be a DC CDI, so it needs ignition power, it needs DC power to get it fired up. So what I'm going to do is basically run those wires into the box and a starter wire that's got to go out to the starter, but that's basically all we've got left at this point. So what I'm going to do is run the connect the trigger outside the box, and then run the hot wire and the ground wire in here to the switch. The hot wire is going to go probably to the solenoid over here, like everything else. The hot side of the solenoid, and then we'll run a ground wire down to our ground lug. So we'll do that next. All right, so. Okay, here we're going to put a loop on. I'm just going to connect them to the hot side of the solenoid. There we go. Should be our last hot wire on that. Now this ground wire here, same premise. We're going to put that on the toggle switch, and then the other leg of the toggle switch is going to ground. You recall which side is so your button's in the right position where this needs to be?
Oh, I sure don't.
It's going to be trial and error.
have a 50-50 chance. We have a 50-50 chance.
My glasses ain't on, so let's see. Which one is on? Up or down is off, right?
Down is on.
No, that's on.
Right.
Yeah.
Alright, let's get a little closer here. I can tell we got 2 wires left. One is going to be the trigger and the ground wire from the battery. Battery. we know that part works. Grab me that last container in there.
Last what?
The last plastic container in that. Just open that door up. Yep. Trying to remember which side is the female on the stator side or the female on the I'll say female's on the buggy side.
Say female on the stator side because yours are male on there.
Female's on the buggy side then.
Yes.
The male's on your. Yep.
Harness in there.
That's what I thought. I just willing to bet it. Alright, so just gotta connect the trigger up. I'm hoping this fires right over. If that's the case, we'll button it up and make it look prettier. Okay. So she's in the on position now. Let's see what happens. Got fuel?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Choke. Oh. I got small race fuel. Uh-oh.
Battery's low.
Alright, so battery is getting a little low and I don't want to kill it. So this is one of the chargers I'm talking about. This one's made by Ballistic. I own two. The other one's a Necro Genius. I kind of like that one better if you are shopping around. Definitely would go with the Genius 10. But that's in the race trailer, so we're using this right now. She is charging. We were down to one light on here. We're back up to 3. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a shot. We know it's we know it's cranking. Let's do this. Let's see if our switch is backwards. That's what we want to know. Yeah, we're gonna have to let it sit. Too much compression. So we're gonna let this charge for a few minutes and then we'll come back. All right. So we had to shut the camera off for a second because we hit a hiccup. When it fired up for the second, apparently that was the sound, and then died, and then hard started. That was the sign of the stator telling us that it was taking a dump on us. So we had to take a couple minutes to diagnose it. What was going on was, depending on what I have on video, I'm pretty sure we caught it. It fired up, it coughed for a second, died. And then it was hard starting. I put a battery charger on it because it was hard starting. What we noticed was after trying to turn it over a couple times, it just wouldn't fire up. But we noticed that the harness where the stator's coming out of the motor it was getting hot. It was puffing a little smoke. So wanted to determine whether it was a mistake I made or did we have a bad part or what. So what we did was, first we unplugged the stator, just the charging harness, left the trigger wire in just to plug this harness, and she fired right up. Now, do I have a bad rectifier, do I have a bad stator? But it definitely was getting hot on this side. So we unplugged the rectifier, did it again, and turned it over. It was still getting hot. So plugged the stator again, she fired up again. So we ended up taking out, swapping the stator, and then what I got was fingers clear. So, and on our 50-50 on the ignition switch, we did get it correct, because the way they have this rigged is when you close it, it stays, you can't turn it off by accident. So we had a 50-50 on the toggle switch, and we got that right too, and that was just by accident. But, so that's it, and hopefully, yeah, right now Caesar's reinstalling his fan and the cover. We had to take all that apart. So, hopefully this will give someone some insight, or some of you guys some insight on the wiring detail. It's really not that hard. There's no black magic involved. No diagrams were used. At this point for me, it's just repetition. And the fact that we eliminated a lot, and what you didn't get to see was, hooking up the CDI and what, which is pretty straightforward too. We already did a video on pinouts on the CDI. So you're just incorporating that into the mix, and maybe next time we'll do a video with a conventional CDI, and you'll see that. But I'll do a couple of wiring videos as they come through the shop, and hopefully this will help you guys out, because that seems to be A, the most asked question, B, the main reason why people dump their GY6s for something simpler like a 420 or whatnot, just because they look at the wiring, they buy a new buggy, or a used buggy, or an old buggy, but new to them. They look at the wiring mess, because let's face it, 50% of the used buggies out there, somebody's hacked through the wiring, and then they just throw their hands up and they don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just gonna swap the motor out. You don't really need to. Fortunately, as far as engines go, wiring goes, it's pretty straightforward. It's one of the easiest deals to do. Obviously, with an MBX buggy like this, we're taking a lot of shortcuts. There's no blinkers, there's no lights, there's no, other BS involved. So it can be done pretty easily and contained in a little box like this. But, if you have a buggy, putting lights on a buggy is no big deal. Blinkers, I'm not your guy for blinkers. Find a different YouTube channel for that. I don't even know why they put blinkers on buggies, but they do. But I mean, lights are pretty straightforward to wire in. If you have any questions about that, you can leave in the comment, and maybe we'll do like a hooking up the light video down the road. But I want to thank all you guys for tuning in. Glad to be back. More videos are coming soon. I just posted some MBX GoPro videos. Sorry I've been absent, but the computer that I was using, that I was storing videos on, took a dump. And I have to have my buddy extract all those videos, and most of them might be lost because we don't know how bad that computer ended up, but I might have lost a bunch of videos. So what you might not see is the 91X is obviously on the track. There might be a couple of videos missing on the progress of that, and so we'll just do a walk around video and skip it and go right to a walk around video. The mishmash buggy, if you want to put the camera over there, is still over there. I don't think much progress has been done to that, just because the MBX season started kicking off, and I've been kind of back and forth with everything. So I haven't really had time. Hopefully we'll get that out there soon, because that's going to be an MBX buggy, and we'd love to see that on the track. The more racers, the merrier. So at that point, you need parts, gotbuggies.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are still, again, because the MBX is kicking off and videos getting lost and me being absent on the channel, we are still giving away this variator system, CVT system. I haven't forgotten about that. We have the subscribers. I will sit down, we'll make a video, figure out a way to I want to do some sort of contest of some sort. We'll figure that out, get that done. I promise you, I haven't forgotten about that. So I'll see you soon. Sorry, got work to do. JD out.